is Vanessa. I was 20 years old when everything changed in my life. I lived with my mother in a small house near the city. Her name was Karen. She was kind, but for a long time she was very sad. My father left us when I was 17. He did not say much. He simply went away one morning, and after that he never came back. Mother cried for weeks. The house felt empty for a long time. I tried to make her smile. I cooked dinner when she came home from work. I cleaned the house and helped her with everything, but her eyes stayed tired. She worked at a hospital, and her job was hard. I knew she missed having someone to talk to. I missed that too. I wanted her to be happy again. One afternoon, she came home with a bright smile. I had not seen her like that in years. She said she met someone new. His name was John. She said he was kind and funny. When I met him, he seemed like a good man. He had calm eyes and a soft voice. He brought flowers for my mother and chocolates for me. He made her laugh at dinner. The sound of her laughter filled the house again, and I felt hope. John began to visit often. He talked to me about my studies, about my favorite books, and the music I liked. Nobody ever asked me those things before. My mother was busy, and my father had never been interested. I felt happy that John listened. He said I was smart. I liked how he made me feel noticed. After 6 months, my mother and John got married. I was happy for her. She looked younger, lighter, full of energy again. John moved into our house. At first, everything was peaceful. He helped clean the kitchen and sometimes cooked dinner. We watched movies together, the three of us. He treated me like a daughter, or that is what I thought. But with time, something changed. I began to feel strange around him. Sometimes I caught him looking at me for too long. It was not the kind of look a father gives to a daughter. It made me uncomfortable, but I tried to ignore it. I told myself that I was imagining it. He was my stepfather now. Why would he look at me like that? My mother was often at work. She worked long hours at the hospital. Most evenings, she came home tired and went straight to bed. John and I spent many evenings alone. He made food for me when I was hungry. He asked how school was going. He helped me with homework. He always had time for me. Slowly, I started to depend on his attention. One day, I came home feeling terrible. I had failed a test, and I was crying quietly in my room. John saw me and asked what was wrong. I told him about the test. He said I should not worry. He said I was smart and special. His words made me feel better. Then he held my hand gently, and for a long time, neither of us moved. Something in that moment felt different. I did not understand what it was, but I felt it deep inside. After that day, John changed his way of speaking to me. He sent messages late at night when my mother was asleep. He said I was beautiful and that he understood me better than anyone. I read his words again and again. Nobody had ever said things like that to me. I thought he really cared about me. At first, I felt confused. He was my stepfather, but he made me feel important. I did not know what was right anymore. Mother was always tired and busy. I missed having someone to talk to, and John was always there. I started to look forward to his messages. When I saw his name on my phone, my heart beat fast. John began to find reasons to be near me. He helped me cook even when I said I could do it alone. He sat close when we watched television. He made small jokes and told me I looked grown up. Sometimes I caught my reflection in the mirror and felt strange. I was not a child anymore, but I did not feel like a woman either. I did not know what John saw in me. One weekend, my mother had to work a night shift. John and I were alone in the house. We had dinner together and watched a movie. He sat beside me and told me how lonely he felt when my mother was away. I listened, but my stomach felt tight. I did not like hearing him talk that way. When I went to my room, he stood at the door for a moment before saying goodnight. His eyes stayed on me too long. That night, I could not sleep. The days after that felt strange. John was kind as always, but I could not forget that look. When he spoke to me, his voice was softer than before. When he smiled, it felt heavier, full of something I could not name. I began to keep my door closed more often, but then he would ask why I was avoiding him. He said he only cared for me. His words sounded harmless, yet I could feel something dangerous underneath. Mother did not notice anything. She trusted John completely. She was so busy that she often asked him to take care of me when she worked. Late, I wanted to tell her that I was not comfortable, but I was afraid. I did not want to hurt her or make her think badly of me, so I stayed quiet. John's messages became stronger. He said that I was the only one who understood him. He said that my mother did not make him happy. At first, I ignored those messages. Then I began to answer them. I told myself that I was only being kind, that I did not want to make him feel lonely. But the truth was that I wanted him to say more. I wanted someone to see me, to care about me. Every time my mother came home, I felt guilty. I tried to smile and act normal, but inside, I felt afraid of being discovered. I had never lied to her before. Now I was hiding something. I began to avoid looking at her. When she asked how I was, I said I was fine. I wanted to tell her the truth, but I could not. A few weeks later, it was my 21st birthday. My mother worked a long shift and came home late, but John was there. He made a small cake and gave me a necklace. He said it was a gift because I was special. I thanked him, and when I looked at the necklace, I felt a strange mix of happiness and fear. That night, he sent a message saying that he loved me. He said he did not love me like a father, but like a woman. I did not know to think. I sat in my bed for hours staring at the message. I could have told him to stop. I could have told my mother everything, but I did not. I wanted to believe that his feelings were real. I told myself that love was complicated and that maybe this was love, too. I was too young to understand how wrong it was. I began to meet him in secret. We met when my mother was at work. He said we could not tell anyone because they would not understand. I believed him. I told my mother I was going out with friends, but I was with him. Each lie made me feel heavier, but I kept doing it. I thought I was in love. John told me his plan. He said he wanted to leave my mother. He said he wanted to start a new life with me. My heart broke when I heard that. I knew it would destroy my mother. I cried many nights, not knowing what to do. I was only 21. I did not understand how deep the pain would go. But John said he could not live without me. He said our love was true. I believed him. I thought that if something felt so strong, it could not be wrong. I was blind. I was lost. Between guilt and desire, between love and shame. At night, I often looked at my mother, sleeping on the couch after work. I felt sorry for her, but I could not stop what I had started. I told myself that one day she would understand. I told myself that love was never simple. I was wrong. Before I continue with the story, please like, subscribe, share, and let me know in the comments where you are listening from. Your support means a lot. Now let's continue. When I look back now, I see how blind I was. At that time, I thought I was following my heart. I thought love could fix everything. But love that starts in lies never stays clean. I was too young to see that truth. I believed every word John told me. He said we would be happy. He said my mother would be fine. He said people would judge us. But they did not understand how deep our love was. I wanted to believe him because the truth was too heavy to face. One evening, John told my mother that he did not love her anymore. I was in my room when I heard their voices. My mother cried and asked why. John spoke in a calm voice. He said he needed time alone. He said it was not her fault. I stayed quiet in my room and listened. Every sound of her crying broke my heart, but I said nothing. I could not tell her that the man she loved was leaving her for me. For days, the house felt cold and strange. My mother did not eat. She walked around like someone lost in a dream. I wanted to comfort her, but I was the reason she was in pain. I stayed away from her. I told myself it would be easier once John and I could be together openly. I thought things would make sense then. I was wrong again. When the divorce was finally done, John moved out first. He said he needed time to find a new place. A few weeks later, I followed him. I told my mother I was staying with a friend. She believed me because she trusted me. I took my things and left quietly. I did not even leave a note. I remember looking at her face while she slept on the couch. I wanted to say goodbye, but I could not open my mouth. I walked out and closed the door behind me. When I arrived at John's apartment, he hugged me and told me I made the right choice. I wanted to believe that. I wanted to think that love could forgive everything. For a short time, I felt safe again. We went out for dinners. He told me stories about his childhood. He said we would start fresh. I tried to forget the past, but my mother's face was always in my mind. One day, John asked me to marry him. He said that if we married, people would finally respect us. He said our love would look real in the eyes of the world. I did not even think. I said yes. I wanted something good to come out of all the pain. I wanted a reason to believe that my choice had meaning. I told myself that marriage would make everything right. But before we married, my mother found out. I do not know how. Maybe someone saw us together, or maybe she felt it in her heart. One morning she came to the apartment. Her eyes were full of tears and her voice was shaking. She asked me how I could do this to her. She said she gave everything to raise me, and I stole the one person who made her happy again. Her words cut deep. I felt small and ashamed, but I stayed silent. I could not find any words that made sense. She told me I broke her heart. Then she left. A month later, John and I got married. I thought it was the start of a new life. I told myself that love would fix everything, but I did not understand how much damage had already been done. My mother did not come to the wedding. Her chair stayed empty. When I looked at it, my heart hurt, but I smiled anyway because I wanted to believe I was happy. For a short time, things seemed fine. We moved into a small house. John worked from home and I looked for a job. He told me not to rush, that he could take care of me. At first, I liked the attention. I thought he loved me, but soon I began to feel trapped. He asked where I went, who I spoke to, and what I did every hour of the day. He read my messages and checked my phone. When I said I needed some space, he became angry. He said he only wanted to protect me. At first, I believed that too, but with time, I realized it was not care, it was control. He wanted to know everything, even things that did not matter. He told me what to wear. He told me not to talk to my old friends. When I tried to meet someone from school, he became cold and silent. That silence scared me more than shouting. Months passed, and I began to feel like a shadow in my own life. I missed my mother. I missed her gentle voice and the way she touched my hair when I was sad. I wanted to call her, but I was afraid. I thought she would not forgive me. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw her eyes in mine, and I hated myself for what I had done. John changed more with each passing week. He stopped being kind. He stopped saying sweet things. He said I was stupid. He said I could not do anything alone. Sometimes, he said, I was just like my mother. But he said it in a cruel way. His words hurt deeply. The man who once made me feel special now made me feel small. One night, he came home angry. He said someone at work had annoyed him. I tried to calm him, but he shouted louder. He said I was ungrateful. He said I ruined his life. His face looked strange, full of anger. I stepped back, but he came closer. For the first time, I felt real fear. I ran out of the house with only my phone in my hand. It was late at night. The street was quiet. I walked without knowing where to go. My legs were shaking, and my heart was heavy. After some time, one thought came to my mind. I had only one place left, my mother's house. I did not know if she would open the door, but I had to try. When I reached her house, I stood outside for a long time. I looked at the window where my light used to be. It was dark now. I knocked on the door softly at first, then harder. Nobody came. I knocked again and again until my hand hurt. I started crying. I said I was sorry even though I knew she could not hear me. My voice was broken, but I did not stop. After a long time, I heard steps. The door opened slowly. My mother stood there in her nightclothes. Her face looked tired and sad. She did not say anything. I could see that her heart was still broken. I asked her with my eyes to forgive me. She looked at me for a long time, then moved aside and let me in. Inside, everything looked the same, but felt different. The air was quiet. I sat down on the couch and began to talk. I told her everything. I told her how John changed, how he hurt me with his words, and how I realized what a terrible mistake I had made. She listened in silence. She did not say much, but she did not turn away either. Her silence was heavy, but it was also soft, like she was trying to understand. That night, I slept in my old room. I cried until I fell asleep. In the morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. My mother was in the kitchen. She did not smile, but she gave me a cup. It was her way of saying that I could stay. I felt a small light of hope inside me. I knew it would take time to heal what I had broken, but I also knew that she was my only family, and I could not lose her again. The next day, I decided to leave John for good. When I told him, he laughed. He said I could not live without him. He said I would come back, but I did not. I stayed with my mother. I started working at a small store nearby. I was scared at first, but each day I felt stronger. John called many times. I did not answer. I blocked his number. He sent emails, but I deleted them. For the first time in years, I began to breathe again. The divorce took many months, but I did not give up. My mother was beside me, slowly learning to trust me again. Sometimes we sat in silence, but it was a warm silence, not a cold one. She started talking to me little by little. She said she was still hurt, but she could see that I was trying. It took years for her to forgive me, but every week I went to her house. I helped her with shopping. I cooked for her. Sometimes she smiled. Sometimes she cried. I knew healing was slow, but at least it was real. The years that followed were quiet, but full of lessons. I was not the same person anymore. The pain changed me. I learned how to live slowly again. I learned how to make peace with myself. My mother and I still carried the past inside us, but we were trying to build something new. We talked often. Some days she told me about her work, and other days we remembered old times. Sometimes we both cried, but those tears were not angry anymore. They were soft tears of memory and forgiveness. I wanted her to see that I had changed. I wanted her to be proud of me again. I found a small job at a bookstore. It was simple work, but it gave me peace. I liked the smell of books and the quiet people who came there. I felt safe. I started studying again in the evenings. I wanted to finish my degree. My life became small, but it was clean and honest. One afternoon, something happened that I will never forget. I saw John again. It was in a supermarket near my work. I was walking down the aisle when I saw him with another woman. She looked young, maybe 20 years old. He was smiling at her the way he once smiled at me. For a moment, my heart stopped. He looked at me and froze. Then he looked away quickly as if afraid. I felt no anger, no sadness, only a strange calm. I looked at the girl beside him and felt sorry for her. She did not know what would come. I wanted to warn her, but I knew she would not believe me. That night, I thought about my life. I thought about mistakes, love, and pain. I realized that real love does not destroy people. Real love is patient and kind. I forgave myself quietly. I forgave my mother completely. I even forgave John, not because he deserved it, but because I needed peace. Now I live simply. My mother and I drink tea together every Sunday. We still talk about life, about how fragile people can be. I learned that forgiveness does not change the past, but it makes the future possible. If you liked my story, please like, comment, and share.